Hi everyone and welcome to Adobe Creative Meetup London. I am Isabel Lee and I am the Adobe Creative Resident for the UK, and I'm joined here today in London with photographer Shane Vincent.
Thank you, Izzy.
So we're going to be chatting to you about a really exciting spider-themed competition that you can get involved in. There's a chance to win a MacBook Pro laptop, an iPad, a year subscription to Creative Cloud, and a limited edition Spider-Man movie poster. So let's jump right in. We're running this contest to encourage creatives to create a work of art inspired by the upcoming film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So the film features a lot of really cool cityscapes that show off Brooklyn, and what we're asking people to do today is to, in their own distinct style, create some images that really reflect their hometown or city using Lightroom CC, Lightroom Mobile, Photoshop, Photoshop Mix, or Photoshop Fix. And we've also made some Lightroom presets to help along the way, to help with the layering and editing and enhancing those techniques.
Wicked.
So I'm joined by Shane, who is going to create some really stunning images today in this theme. But before we get into all that, I think we're going to talk a little bit about your photography.
Okay. Yeah, so I have been taking pictures in London for about 8 years. It started as a hobby, as a pastime, as me taking pics of my mates for their Facebooks and MySpaces. Now I'm getting to have the opportunity to sit here and do things like this, which is wicked. But yeah, I guess I would describe my style as street photography. I'm from London and I like to shoot it how I do. I don't know how to say that I do it, but it's just my weird way of documenting the city, I guess. So yeah, I guess I tried to bring that into this project.
Yeah, because I was looking on your Instagram earlier, and you have a lot of really kind of cool shots that really kind of capture the character of London. Do you have any tips for people that are trying to kind of capture their city in a more authentic way?
Yeah, I would say it's very important to just get out to wherever you're from, really, whether it's from the city or wherever. It's just important to get out and just see as much of it as you can, because London's especially is a place that has a lot to offer, and a lot of different great, crazy, interesting people out there that could teach you a thing or two. So it's very important to just get about and just keep an open mind and take whatever's thrown at you.
How do you kind of find the places that you go to shoot? Do you have an idea beforehand, or do you just kind of wander and see where it takes you?
I like to wander. I like to always see be stimulated myself visually, and see as much as I can. But I'm from North London. I'm from Zone 3 in North London, which is kind of it has the energy of the inner city, but also the juxtaposition of the quietness of suburbia as well. So it's somewhere in between. And for me, that kind of Zone 3 North London is really interesting. I like to shoot around there quite a lot, because it's always changing, especially now it's changing even more. And yeah, I just like to be around and take pictures there. But if I get bored there, I'll go to South London.
I mean, it's not that far away,
is
it?
It's not that far at all. It's not.
But yeah, you've got some really cool images as well that I can see on your laptop. So do you want to talk to me a little bit about that one? Because it looks really cool.
Cheers, man. So this is a picture I took of my mate hanging. It looks dangerous. It's not that dangerous. Trust me. I'm not for risking your life for a picture. That's not me. Don't do it. But this is my friend hanging off a block of flats roof in South London that we found. We just stumbled across it and thought, oh yeah, let's see if we can get a rooftop view. Seeing as it was, as you can see, it was quite a hazy sunset, and you could see the East London skyline there in the background, all foggy and misty. And yeah, it was quite a cool atmosphere. So we thought, let's try and get up there. And we went up the stairs. The door was open, thank God, and we got up to the roof. And there was basically a little ledge off the roof where my curious friend decided to try and get onto, and he did. And obviously we made sure he was all right. But just as he jumped down onto the ledge, I just took a picture here that looks like he's
clinging on.
Yeah, it looks like he's Spider-Man.
It's pretty dramatic.
It's pretty dramatic. But there's a bunch of presets that Adobe have put out for this competition. and I decided to use one of them that worked really well for it, the midnight one. Da-da, and here we go. Oh, no, not that. Whoa.
I guess it's kind of good because you can test them all out before and see which one kind of works before.
Yeah, so you got some wild ones here. Like this one's wild.
That's pretty
Radioactive,
dramatic.
I mean, that's quite ridiculous. This is this one works for me because it kept kind of the realness of the picture and the scene, but also made it proper dramatic and punchy and like a bit dark actually. So yeah, and then after that, I fiddled with the other options.
So do you shoot your images in RAW or do you shoot JPEGs? Like, what's your normal kind of process for the image off the back of the camera?
Yeah, I'll shoot in RAW and then just bring that into Lightroom, and yeah, I'll put them into the Lightroom catalog, and then just go through my favorite ones really. There's a little ranking system here, so you can pick your favorites and
That's
rank them
pretty
5
cool.
stars if you like. But really and truly, yeah, and I don't like to edit too much, but Lightroom has a lot of options that you can use. This time I think I messed with the exposure a little bit. I think I brought it up a bit.
Yeah.
And then the highlights down actually, because I wanted to keep the detail in the clouds and the sky, but also bring the image out a little bit. I think I brought the blacks down a little bit as well to make it a bit more punchy and the contrast up to give it more of that gloominess, that gloomy vibe.
I was going to say, that kind of suits the shot, doesn't it?
And that's, yeah, I mean, and there wasn't much else I did to this. I think I upped the clarity a bit to bring out a bit of detail. And that was really it.
Because that preset kind of starts you off in the right way then, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have used Radioactive for this because this is that too much. For me, that one was too much. But Midnight, yeah, really laid out the foundation really well. So that was great. I took another.
That one's nice.
Pics.
I like that image.
Cheers, man. This was on the DLR from Bank to through East London or whatever. And you can actually look through the front of the trains, which is cool. I always like to do
that's
that.
well cool.
Like to do that. I like to do that because I like to see the city as I'm going somewhere. That's why I like buses. I don't like the tube actually. It's too. There's not enough to see.
There's a lot of your work that's taken on public transport actually, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's important to just get out of your area and just explore as much as you can of wherever you're from. So I enjoy doing that. And this, for me, I slowed the shutter speed down a lot actually for this shot, just to give it a slight motion.
Yeah.
Bit of motion in the picture, which was reminding me of Spider-Man zinging through the sea.
Nice.
I felt like him for a moment. And yeah, again, so that was the raw image.
Nice.
I threw obviously the same filter on again.
Do you find you often have like you use the same kind of steps in a lot of your images? Does that like help you create a cohesive feel, or would you say you have a really different process for all your images?
Do you know what? I think I try to keep it consistent because I try to have a certain. I think it's cool if you can see a photographer's work and you can see, that's that he took it or she took it, because without, do you know what I mean, they have a certain visual style. I'm still trying to build that, I guess. And as sometimes I like to experiment and try something different, but for this I wanted to keep a certain consistency with the shots. So yeah, again, it was quite a similar process. It was like the filter and then adjusting this exposure a bit to bring out the picture a bit more and make the buildings look a bit more.
So that's really cool. I really like this shot. It's quite dynamic.
Thank you. And again, just upping the contrast to give it a bit of punch.
And when you were out and about, do you tend to just carry a small camera on you at all times, or? Yeah,
do you know what? It's not even a small camera, man. So it's quite
dedicated.
I don't have to go to the gym as often as most people. No, it's really heavy actually, but it's a great camera, and I do just literally strap it around and just carry it around as much as I can.
Yeah.
And take as many pictures as I can as well.
Do you ever do any edits in Photoshop, or do you just tend to bring them off the back of the camera into Lightroom?
I used to do edits in Photoshop, but I use Lightroom now because Lightroom is better for me in terms of if you're editing a lot of photos, because you can copy and paste your own presets and blah, 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 and your own editing styles and organize. In terms of organization stuff, it's a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this again, this editing process for this was quite straightforward. Just messing with the shadows and the blacks and there wasn't much detail in the sky, so there wasn't much to do with the highlights. But yeah.
So what kind of tips would you give, like, if people are kind of just starting out with this kind of photography and like maybe they're gonna get a camera for Christmas and they just want to have a go at taking some images? What kind of tips would you give them for getting started?
I would say don't worry really about like the camera you're getting or getting a really expensive camera or anything like that. Just get what you can and just get out and just take pictures, because I think most of the best pictures I've ever seen or were taken on on a phone, or even like, and it can be taken on anything as long as what you're taking a picture of is interesting. I don't really think the technicality of the cameras should be as important.
Because you can get Lightroom on mobile now, right? So I think you can actually make the edits on mobile too, which would be a good way if you don't have your camera on you, or
100%. Yeah, exactly. You can do it on the bus nowadays.
I mean, I'm a graphic designer and I can use Lightroom, so.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is very easy to use, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And what was there? One more. We had one more. So this was in East London. Literally just walking along. I don't know. Maybe do you think that looks like a spider web to you?
I do. I think it's really cool.
I thought it looked like a spider web.
It does. You didn't smash the window, right?
No. Of course.
It's just London windows.
Of course not. Yeah, literally. And yeah, again, I used the same filter. I used the midnight one. Hey, you guys out there might prefer the webby filter or what's this? We've got Atlantic Avenue. What do you think that is? What's Atlantic? That sounds like a place in America.
I was going to say, I think it's probably, I would imagine it's somewhere in Brooklyn based on where the film is set.
That makes sense. Have you been to New York?
Yeah, I like New York. I can't say I've ever been to Atlantic Avenue, but...
I've never been there. But again, this was, I like this image because the Spider-Man's colours as well are quite blue and red, and this naturally had loads of blues because it had the blue glass in the building in the back, and the kind of blue whatever this pen graffiti stuff is over the glass.
It's quite nice. Feels quite cold.
Yeah, but I felt like the other two felt quite warm, so this one was a temperature balance situation for me.
You manipulate your tone curve a lot as well. Like that's always something that I found quite confusing. Do you?
Yeah, you know what? This one I did. So with the tones, I don't usually do it this much, but it's a bit much, isn't it? But it was quite underexposed, and I wanted to bring up the mid-tones here and make them a bit punchy. You can see the highlights are becoming a bit higher.
So that's definitely something that people can have a play with at home as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely play with the curves, man. And if you wanna soften the shadows, you can bring up the bottom left corner up and fade it a little bit and give it more of a film look. Or if you wanna bring make the whites a bit more soft and off-white, you can bring that top right thing down. And yeah, there's loads of technique. Just play with it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that's kind of really helpful advice for anyone at home who's kind of looking to try and take their own images. If anyone at home wants to get involved, then it's really easy because these presets you've been using today, you can go to adobespiderverse.com/participate, and then you can download the brief that we've been working to today. And there's an asset kit which has all of the presets that Shane's been using. And then once you've got an image like this, you can share the final shot on Instagram, Twitter, Behance, using the hashtags Spidergram and contest, and just make sure to remember to tag Adobe Creative Cloud so that people can see it. And I think you've given us some really cool tips to get started. I think it's open till 2nd of December.
Yeah.
So,
Sunday. Is that Sunday? Yeah, I think so.
So you've still got time?
Still got time, man. I'm trying to win it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, so you can go up against Shane.
He'll probably win. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun. It's been it's been a lot of fun running around pretending to be Spider-Man for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been wicked. It's been wicked.
And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing any images that you guys want to share. Hopefully they'll share them with us and we can take a look.
100%.
Well, thanks for being here, Shane.
Thank you, Izzy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.